Good morning and welcome. I'm Mary Cline-Stively, CEO at ChildStrive. I'm so happy to have you here with us today. Thank you for joining me for Together for Families, a conversation and benefit. I'm so glad to have you all here with me today and excited for this lineup of experts that will be leading today's discussions and the ideas that will be generated through all of our conversations. As we start off this morning, I'd like to acknowledge that I'm on the lands of the Coast Salish peoples and honor their sovereignty, and I welcome you to share the lands that you're residing on today as well. Supporting families in the community is a community effort, and that starts with you all coming together, as well as our dedicated volunteers, including our board of directors. This event has been made possible due to the generosity of many local businesses that recognize the importance of supporting families. A big thank you to our partner sponsor, the Goddard School of Snohomish, for their support. And we are grateful for the advocate sponsors, Coastal Community Bank, Heritage Bank, and the Tulalip Tribes, as well as our conversation sponsors, Sonatrol Pacific, Johansson Mechanical, and Puget Sound Energy. Our sponsors are so important to making today a success, and we are truly grateful for their commitment to the community where we all live and work. For the past 59 years, ChildStrive has been committed to offering the highest quality services. We focus on centering the family and maximize the support for children during those first few years of life, when science has proven that we have the greatest opportunity to impact a child for a lifetime. Today, ChildStrive serves more than 4,000 children every year, but we have not done so alone. You have been there with us. Your care and support for children, our understanding that a healthy child is a product of the strong supportive community where the family can access the resources they need, where every child sees themselves in the leaders around them, and where children of all abilities are embraced and encouraged. You are part of building that community. I'm grateful to you and to the organizations, leaders, and experts that are here with us today to share their knowledge and inspire us to become the best possible community, joining Together for Families. We would like to take a few minutes to hear from one of our families whose lives have been impacted by the work at ChildStrive.
We chose to graduate the kids from ChildStrive before we wanted to because the pandemic happened. And when services changed to Zoom, we opted to stop. It doesn't feel like a lot has changed, and I think that's because we've been very well equipped with, oh my gosh, with ChildStrive. We sound like we're paid to promote it, but we are not paid to promote it. It's helped all of our transitions. We had tools from the first time to get us through not having ChildStrive for a while. And then when we got to have their services again, knowing that the kids get somebody in their home. Not only do I get somebody who's an expert in their field, but it's like having a best friend who honestly wants to hear about your kid. They want to and they care about your answer. It's not rhetorical when they ask you, and it feels really good to be able to express your brags and your concerns to somebody who's going to help you with whatever it is that you need. The kids have transitioned to preschool, and we had our occupational therapist at our meeting, our IEP meeting for the kids. My comfort level, having two kids receiving services, transferring to a preschool with such a speech delay, is very uncomfortable for me. And our therapist made sure that my comfort level was okay releasing the kids from ChildStrive and transitioning over. It wasn't just that our kids were getting needs met. They're really good at making you feel like you're a great parent. They point out your strengths and they point out your kids' strengths in times when you tell them where you're struggling. And they just make you feel like a superhero. Because I do love ChildStrive as much as I love ChildStrive. They ask Are you interested in parents as teachers? There was my people. There was my connection. There was my continued focus and my continued hope of making sure everything is okay, of making sure that I have the right path and the right options, that I feel like my kids get their needs met. Did you know they do vision and hearing screenings with parents as teachers? It's a little bit of weight off the shoulders and a bigger exhale having parents as teachers. There was no judgment, which was always nice.
These people come into your home and they really care. It's a good feeling to have.
I don't know if I would be as confident as I am now for as advocating medical services, school services, worrying about, is he getting what he needs? Am I getting what I need? And knowing that my needs are just as important. I don't know if I would have had the same foundation to honestly believe that and to feel that in my core if we didn't have ChildStrive.
For parents who might be reluctant on the services and stuff, I think it's more of I don't want to say self-denial, but along the terms of self-denial, and feel free to reach out. I mean, their services they cover a lot of different areas.
Yes, without a doubt, the people make it my favorite part.
It is really all about the people and all about the relationships. I hope you enjoyed hearing from Emily and her family. Now I'm really pleased and excited to introduce you to today's keynote speaker, Mary Nhin. Mary is a mom of 3 boys, serial entrepreneur, and author. Through her book, she has empowered children, cultivating self-confidence and helping them deal with the difficult emotions and feelings. For 20 years, she has been serving families through her company's Ninja Life Hacks, and her books have sold over 2 million copies worldwide. Mary, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for the warm introduction, Mary. I'm so excited to be here speaking to you about a subject I hold very dear to my heart, and that is on growing grit. Grit is a term that was made popular by Angela Duckworth. In her book, Grit, she defines it as a combination of passion and perseverance. Personally, I have used grit to achieve different levels of successes in almost all aspects of my life. And grit has played a big role in my children's facing challenges. Now, how do we tap into this superpower of grit, and how do we grow it? Perhaps we can find the answer in looking at the lives of today's top business leaders. Elon Musk was once quoted saying, "The first step is to believe that something is possible, then probability will occur." Now let's think about that for a second, because what he has done is that Elon has tapped into the power of mindset. The first step is to believe that something is possible, then probability will occur. Many of us know Elon as a pioneer in several different industries, and he is often regarded as the Thomas Edison of our time. But how did he come upon this genius? What supernatural abilities does he have? You see, Elon was able to tap into his superpower of grit at a very young age. As a young child, he was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. Some say he was socially awkward, and in an unprovoked incident, he was pushed down a flight of stairs by a group of bullies. Afterwards, he was hospitalized. But from that adversity, he rose up to become the CEO of Tesla and the founder of the Boring Company and SpaceX. I'm often asked, Mary, what if my children are not faced with adversity? Well, you can take Sarah Blakely's path. Sarah Blakely is the founder of SpaceX, a billion-dollar company. As a young child around the dinner table, her father would ask Sarah and her brother, "What did you try and fail at today?" While other parents were asking, "What were your achievements today?" Her father redefined failure for her. So at a young age, Sarah tapped into her mental toughness and developed a growth mindset. She looked for failure. She failed forward. It is because of this grit that she was able to endure years of failures and rejections while growing Span X. In 2012, she became the youngest female self-made billionaire in the world. What can today's top business leaders teach us? The common thread is that they share elite levels of mental toughness. You see, mental strength is a lot like physical strength. I'm often amazed at how many of us practice our physical, yet we fail to train our mind. Just like if you were going to train your legs, you would perform squats and lunges. What specific exercises would we do to strengthen our mental muscles, our mental prowess? And what gives me the authority to speak on the subject of growing grit? You see, my husband and I have built several multi-million-dollar businesses in 3 different industries. In 2005, we founded Ninja Nooks, a real estate company comprised of industrial, commercial, and residential real estate, with the goal of helping families find a forever home and a home for their businesses. In 2010, we founded Ninja Sushi, a 5-store restaurant chain, with the goal of providing families with a healthier alternative in the vast fast food landscape. In 2019, I founded Grow Grit Press with the sole purpose of empowering children with tools and resources to grow grit and develop confidence. But my true authority on growing grit lies in the fact that I have failed over and over and over again. Some of my failures include dozens upon dozens of bank rejections. And before I received over 10,000 5-star reviews on Amazon, I had 7 book failures. I have lost over $320,000 in a poorly picked restaurant location. And I've lost another $180,000 in a restaurant where the partner and I our visions did not mesh any longer. I've been ridiculed by friends and family and worked 12-hour days, 7 days a week for years at a time. And while I was struggling with these challenges, I developed a mantra that I would repeat to myself. I don't quit because I've got grit. Within each of these failures, I developed a growth mindset, learned lessons, and realized that I was practicing certain exercises that would help develop my mental toughness. Today, I'm going to share with you those gems of grit, and I've dubbed them the 4 Ps. Patience, purpose, plan, and positivity. In 2005, I made a decision to be a stay-at-home mother with my children and support my husband from home while he was developing our restaurants. And in those child-rearing years, I would be lying if I told you I didn't feel despair, loneliness, frustration, and even resentment towards my husband for pursuing his own dreams and goals. I had to summon patience during those years. And while I was raising my boys, I experienced firsthand the challenges and big emotions that they experience day to day. And when Jojo, my youngest, told me he was scared of the dark, I made up ninja characters with special superpowers to help them overcome these challenges. So when he told me he had a fear of the dark, I told him that once upon a time, there was a brave ninja whose special superpower was courage. And even when we don't feel brave, we can be brave, because being brave is a choice that we get to make with our breath, body, and voice. And several years later, when Kobe was struggling with self-doubt and anxiety during his tennis years, I sat him down and shared with him some exercises and resources that were at his fingertips that he could use to help him feel more empowered. During that time, he had plateaued in his tennis competition. He was actually homeschooled for a while during those years because that's what he chose. He wanted to compete nationally, so we were traveling almost everywhere. So he was losing a lot of super tiebreakers. But after he felt more empowered with these special resources, he began to win again. And in fact, I don't know if any of you play tennis, but he won 8 super tiebreakers in a row. That is really difficult to do. And he had really zoned in on his mental toughness. During that same season, his online English teacher had asked the class, write a research paper and choose any subject you'd like. And he chose the subject of mental toughness. His paper was really good. And so we sat down and we talked about, hey, we wonder if there's other kids that may be experiencing self-doubt too. Maybe these tools and resources could help them. So we decided to turn it into a children's book, and we queried traditional publishers. We received over 25 rejections. And I looked at his kind face and I said, don't you worry, Kobe, Mom's going to learn how to self-publish this for you. And so he ran a Kickstarter. I published his book, How to Win Wimbledon in Pajamas, on Amazon. It was so well received in the tennis community that he decided to write 2 more in the series, How to Win the World Cup in Pajamas and How to Win the Gold Medal in Pajamas, for soccer players and for future Olympians. And just as teenagers do, he quickly became bored and he said, Mom, I'm done. And after 22 years of patience, maybe this was my opportunity to publish those stories that I used to share with the boys. And so what started out as 16 ninjas quickly evolved into 32 ninjas. And today we have over 68 ninjas with a curriculum, lesson plans, and the whole works. But it required patience on my part. And I want to speak to any of you who are in a particularly difficult season in your life and encourage you to have patience and hold steadfast to your dreams and goals. Because in Steve Jobs' words, you have to trust that one day your dots will connect. During those years, I often reminded myself, I don't quit because, say it with me, I've got grit. Now, another way to help us develop mental toughness and grit is to have a purpose. For me, in 2020, and my first full year of business, despite selling over $4 million in books, I lost over $200,000. But I had to remind myself what my purpose was. And that was to empower children with the tools and resources to develop confidence and grow grit. I knew that if I kept listening to my readers, incorporating their feedback, that I would eventually get there. And last year in 2021, we not only doubled our sales, but I'm finally profitable. For our children, whether it be academic, sports, or anything personal, asking them about their why and their purpose can help them think about something higher than ourselves. Because a purpose helps you get through the struggles and obstacles that will inevitably come our way. A purpose can be a guiding light in our darkest days. During those years when I was developing my publishing company, I often reminded myself, I don't quit because, say it with me, I've got grit. Now, a purpose without a plan is just a dream. I love using an analogy here, especially for children, because when you have an analogy, you can draw a picture in your mind. A plan is like a roadmap. Let's say you're going to Fort Myers, Florida, a road trip. You would never think to leave the house without a roadmap or the navigational steps, right? But why do we go through life with dreams and goals without a plan? A plan allows us to avoid detours, twists and turns, and helps us get to our destination faster and more efficiently. If you'd like to read more about my type of goal setting, you can read more about it in Motivated Ninja. But many experts talk about long-term and short-term goals, or even SMART goals. But I prefer PPO goals. And again, you can find that in Motivated Ninja. Now I saved the best P for last, and that is positivity. I'm going to share with you specific exercises that I empowered my children with, and that you can empower your own children with. The first skill set or exercise that I'd like to share with you is being calm and finding your calm. Because when Kobe was struggling with self-doubt, I noticed that he was in a fight and flight response. His hands would get sweaty. His breathing would become shallow. His heart would race. And to regain his calm again, he had to practice deep breathing. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but the people with the highest emotional intelligence are the ones that have control over their breath. That's because they're always pausing before they speak or act. They have great control of their breath. And the way that I share this skill set with children and my own is you inhale for 3 seconds, hold for 3 seconds, and then exhale for 3 seconds. We talk more about this in Positive Ninja and Angry Ninja. The second skill set is being confident. There are 2 exercises I'd love to share with you today that you can empower your children with. And that is the power of positive self-affirmations and the power of visualization. I don't know if you've ever noticed a chatter in your head. Many of us have a negative voice and a positive voice. I've gone so far as to name my negative voice. Her name is Leslie. And I don't listen to her as much as I used to, because I've been practicing positive self-affirmations. And if only practice 30 seconds a day, you can increase your confidence. On my website at ninjalifehacks.tv, there's a free printables called Positive Self-Affirmations. They are labels you can print out and tape to your child's mirror so that when they're brushing their teeth, they can practice positive self-affirmations. And this can greatly increase their confidence. So in action, this is what it looked like. Kobe, when he was struggling with his tennis, I could see him after he made a mistake. He would say, "I'm so bad. I can't do this." But after we started practicing positive self-affirmations, mistakes began to look like this. Mistakes are how I learn. It's okay. I can do this. The power of visualization. Visualization is practiced by Olympic athletes and CEOs. And it is so effective that if you only practice it 15 seconds a day, it can help you increase your confidence. Before a tournament match, Kobe would sit on his bed the night before, close his eyes, and visualize what his opponent would look like, how he would serve, where he would serve, how the wind would feel on his face, what he heard. Did he hear the birds? What did he hear his opponent saying? When he practiced this visualization, this helped him become more confident the next day. He became a lot more proactive than reactive. So I encourage you to try visualization out and incorporate it into your daily schedules. The third skill set is being carefree. Now, how many of us, by a show of hands, has ever stopped doing something because we were scared of what somebody might say or think? I know me. Being carefree doesn't mean that you don't care about the process, but that you don't care about the results. Because as long as you try your best, you'll be happy with the results. Being carefree for children often means focusing on the present and not focusing on what will happen or what has happened in the past. There was one specific exercises with 2 specific questions that I helped Kobe with to become carefree. So he took his journal out and I asked him, what is the worst thing that can happen? I'll lose my match. I'll lose a tournament. My friends will laugh at me. And the second question was, will you survive? Yes, Mom, I'll survive. I'm not going to die. I'll just play another tournament. When we ask these 2 questions and answer them truthfully, we can begin to prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. Because mentally, when we prepare our mind for the worst possible outcome, we can accept what may come. And we begin to perform more carefree. The last exercise that I'd love to share with you in skill set is being capable. Being capable, we covered this a little bit earlier about goal setting. And it can be SMART goals, long-term, short-term goals, or PPO goals. But I'd like to take it a couple steps further. Because when I was creating goals for my publishing business, I set out to sell 100,000 books, which quickly became 1 million and then 2 million. And now my goal is 3 million. But being capable means that we set goals, we read them regularly, and we update them. Because when we do take it 2 steps further, reading them and updating them, what we're doing is we're activating our subconscious mind so that without you even realizing, you're making decisions that are veering you towards the destination. And it helps you get there faster and more efficiently. Feeling capable is believing that you can reach your goals and dreams. And maybe Elon Musk put it best when he said, the first step is to believe that something is possible. Then probability will occur. I have a pop-up here. I appreciate you listening to my talk today, and I love sharing about this subject. I hope that you'll be able to find me on my social media, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook under Mary Nhin or Ninja Life Hacks. And please don't forget my mantra, I don't quit because, say it with me, I've got grit.
Thank you so much, Mary. Really appreciate you sharing all of your Ninja Life Hacks with us today and personally reminding me of purpose. That's such an important thing for us to remember. So thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
As we all prepare to move into our conversation sessions, I hope you will take a moment to visit the link here in the chat or click on the donate button on our event page. Please consider the impact you personally can make and give generously. Now is your chance to invest in families. Your gift will have an immediate impact on the life of a child today as well as in the future. And as you're doing that, I just want to give a quick shout out. I know we have a group of people over at Coastal Bank coming together as a group. And so I just wanted to give a quick shout out to you all as well. Really appreciate everyone being here. You can access the 10:30 sessions of your choice by navigating to the main event page. The link is also in the chat. And as we wrap up, I just want to say one of my favorite quotes is Meg Wheatley says, whatever the problem, community is the answer. And that is why we are here today, to be in community together for families. I really do believe my purpose is really about creating connection for families so that families can thrive, because I do believe that's how we will create a healthy community. Thank you and enjoy the conversations.